Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Charles with Charles in Man's World. We are checking out the book, Prodigy. This is biography. We're gonna go ahead and play a little snippet of it, and I'm gonna come back with my reaction. Hit that thumbs up button. Appreciate it.
And when a few of them got pinched for bank robbery, the police arrested Green Eyes, and he took the weight for whoever was involved. When he first introduced himself, I wasn't feeling him at all. He was real cocky, like, "What up? My name Green Eyes, you probably heard of me in the streets." Bragging how he was locked up with this one and that one. My only focus was music, so I really didn't give a fuck about all the shit he was talking. Green Eyes was living with DeLorean at his mom's crib in QB and started coming to the studio with him every day. He wasn't really DeLorean's uncle. I think he used to sex DeLorean's moms, and they used that uncle so the little nigga wouldn't feel bad. After a few days, I realized Green Eyes was cool. He was just an OG suspended in time. 1984 to be exact. He told me how the gang leader, Supreme McGriff, didn't take care of him while he was locked up and never sent his family money. Damn, this nigga did 15 years for them. Friday came, and I told Green Eyes I was meeting with Lynchman about the story I heard from Bars and Hooks. DeLorean hadn't told him about it. He asked if he could come and said that he'd just sit there and say nothing. Lynchman would think twice about all that thug shit they pop in when they see me, 'cause they know me from the streets, Green Eyes said. At the Lynchman offices, DeLorean, Green Eyes, and I listened to Lynchman's appeal. They said that Bars and Hooks couldn't sign with Infamous Records, and they wanted to be paid back for the studio time, electric bills, and the phone calls made on the group's behalf. Lynchman had a compilation album coming out, so I told them that Bars and Hooks and I would do a song for it free of charge if they would squash everything. They agreed. I decided to introduce Bars and Hooks to the world through 2 freestyles. One over Melly Mel's The Message, and another over Frankie Beverly's Outstanding. I pressed up 5,000 records with Bars and Hooks stickers and the Infamous Records logo, got the national DJ mailing list, and contacted thousands of DJs about my plans for the new label and group. Then shipped records to all of them. I had seen how the Loud staff did it, so I just did it myself. My brain was working like a robot, and my energy was through the roof. Late one night at Soundtrack Studios, Twin called, saying that he was bringing his kid who had some hot beats and was down with DJ Muggs from Cypress Hill. Twin showed up a couple hours later with a white kid dressed in khakis and an Adidas jacket like he was straight out of Compton. He introduced himself as Alchemist and put a DAT tape in the player. The first few beats were cool, but one made me go crazy. As soon as I heard it, I claimed it for the Mobb Deep album. We put Coogee Rap on the song and called it The Realest. I wrote a real crazy verse. Never prejudge, it be the humble that'll squeeze slugs. It be the niggas standing still that'll peel guns. Spill blood for my niggas thugging for me. Man, you don't wanna get involved fucking with P. I spent more nights illin', less nights chillin'. The more shots it hold, the better they feel it. Will be the Dillons. Alchemist had many more where that beat came from, and has been a part of the team ever since. I'm very leery and suspicious of new faces, and initially I thought Alchemist was a fed or some type of undercover agent trying to dig up some dirt on me and my boys. My initial thoughts were, oh, the police think they slick. They got agents who know how to make beats now. But when Alchemist came around with all those dope beats, and I saw how serious he was about his career, I embraced him like a brother. He was like a gift from the heavens. That white boy got a lot of soul. We made up nicknames for him like White Chocolate, the White Vulture, and the Red White Bird. Just as we were ready to hand in the album, Loud Records switched distributors from RCA to Sony Columbia, and our album was pushed back 3 months until the deal was finalized. We were pissed. Loud had a whole new staff after the deal was done. And while they were going through those changes, our album got bootlegged. Murder Music was one of the most bootleg albums of all time. We had to record 4 new songs before we put it out, so the fans would still want to buy it. My song White Lines was getting hot, and it was time to give it a real name, so I called it Quiet Storm. Havoc and Chris Lighty wanted Quiet Storm for Murder Music instead of HNIC because Mobb Deep needed a big single, but I refused to give it up at first. After a week of Havoc and Chris's convincing though, I gave in and gave my solo song to Mobb Deep. Lil' Kim and Havoc were on the remix, and we shot videos for both my version and the remix. Rumors have been going around that Kim didn't write any of her music, but I was impressed when I saw how Kim killed her verse and wrote it herself. The 4 new songs we made for our album were Spread Love Not War, Adrenaline, Where Your Heart At, and Quiet Storm Remix featuring Lil' Kim. The Sunday before Murder Music dropped, one of Havoc's homies from Queensbridge, Fakey, came home from doing 9 years for shooting at some cops. I went to Freeport to visit Hav, and Fakey was sitting in the kitchen looking happy to be home, being real cool and humble. I didn't know Fakey very well. He was Havoc's boy. I met him once or twice when I first came to Queensbridge, but he got locked up right after that. I told Fakey we were having an album release party at the Tunnel the following Sunday, and that I'd give him 12 VIP passes. Sunday rolled around, and I called Fakey to meet in the early evening on 21st Street in Queensbridge, so I can give him the passes. Fakey pulled up in a white limousine with a gang of people, called Mega, Ice, Spank, Nut, and a bunch of others. I gave him 12 passes and told him to arrive early because the passes were only good until 11 p.m. He agreed, and then I jetted to Alchemist's crib to meet Havoc and the crew. Club security tried to rush us into the tunnel after midnight because the cops were shutting the doors down. You got a bunch of people at the side door trying to get in. They say they with you, one of the security guards told me. How many people? I asked. 12. It was Fakey and his crew. I told the security that they had VIP passes. 2 cops walked up. All right, we're closing the doors for good. You people are either going in or out. Make up your mind. I tried my best to talk to the cops and let them know this was our party, but they started getting pushy. Either go in or you're staying out. Fuck them niggas, P. We gotta do this show, Havoc yelled, heading through the door. Let's go. I told Havoc to wait a minute. I didn't want to leave Fakey and his boys outside without at least trying to help them get in. Can I leave one of my boys here with you to point them out so they can get in? I asked the club security. Please, man. They belong inside with us. They all have passes. He looked at me like he wanted to help. Those passes are only good until 11 p.m. It's almost 1 o'clock, he said, then paused. Okay, leave one of your boys with me. I'll see what I can do. I left Godfather at the door with him and went inside. The club was jam-packed. When we hit the stage to perform, the crowd went crazy. Our first time performing in the tunnel, after all those years of hanging out there. My Benz was parked outside the front door, and as soon as we stepped outside after popping bottles in the VIP, I saw Fakey and his crew looking disappointed because they couldn't get in. Fakey walked up to me, and the police told me to move my car. Yo, meet me around the block so we could talk, I told Fakey. Around the corner, we get out the rides to talk on the sidewalk. Fakey told me that Ice's car was stolen while they were trying to get in, and Ice wanted me to pay for it. Tell Ice to get out the car and tell me that himself, I said. Fakey got Ice. I knew Ice way better than I knew Fakey from partying together in the tunnel for years while Fakey was locked up. Ice had a dumbass look on his face when he walked up, like he knew he was about to tell me some bullshit, and he also knew that I wasn't gonna go for it. My car's missing. I don't know if it got stolen or towed, he said. That's not my problem, I said. I'm not paying for it. Forget about it, P. It's not your fault, Ice said, and got back in the car. Don't even worry about it. Niggas just mad because they couldn't get in, Fakey said. I tried to convince them to let y'all in, but y'all came too late. I told you the passes was only good till 11, I said. At least you tried, he said. We really mad at Havoc because we grew up with him, and it seemed like he didn't give a fuck about us. While Fakey was speaking, somebody got out the car to take a piss on the corner. I couldn't see who it was from where I was standing. Engaged in the conversation, I didn't take notice as a kid snuck around some cars, moving toward me, snuffing me in my nose. I dropped to the ground, unaware of who or what hit me. As I was getting up, I saw it was a little dirty nigga Worm. He lifted the chain off my neck while I was still in the daze, and he ran to get back inside the car. Yo, what the fuck is you doing? Fakey screamed, as if confused, but right away I suspected these niggas set me up. Why would they have Worm with them when they're fully aware of all the situations with him and Mobb Deep? They want to set me up? I'm the one who gave them 12 passes. Havoc always told me, stop hanging out in QB, don't trust them niggas. But it's not my style to cut everybody off because of a few bad apples in the bunch. I was one of the only niggas in Queensbridge actively shooting videos, movies, showing love to the up-and-coming artists, and keeping close ties when everybody else stopped coming around. I wasn't trying to be something that I'm not. I didn't let money or fame make me paranoid to the point where I was scared to come to the hood. I didn't have a reason to have fear in my heart because I'm genuine. Only liars have fear because they scared somebody will catch on to their lies. The only reason I stopped dealing with a person was if they did something foul to me, and nobody from QB ever did nothing foul until then. Worm snatched my chain and then ran. I popped open my car's hood to get my gun out to shoot up that piece of shit Land Rover that he, Fakey, Spank, Mega, and Ice were in. I looked over at Stobo, and he already knew what I was thinking. The only thing that stopped me from punching holes in that Jeep was Ice and Cormega. If they wasn't in there, I'd probably be doing murder time right now. Fakey and Worm thought they were so gangster, but a real gangster nigga almost put an end to their career as petty crooks that night. I sat in the driver's seat with the gun on my lap, itching to show these wannabe thugs how I got down. But my better judgment caused me to pull off. I'll catch them soon enough.
Oh man, that was crazy. So that's why Havoc didn't really trip when them dudes couldn't get in, because he didn't really mess with those dudes in the first place. Prodigy the one that was probably messing with them, and that's why Havoc didn't mess with those cats, because he knew those dudes was grinding. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes even Havoc told him, hey man, you just don't be hanging out with those. There's some dudes, man, I grew up with, man, that I'm cool with, like from afar, but I know that hanging out with these cats, like you end up getting set up or getting some stuff messing with them, you know, on a daily basis. And I think Havoc peeped that at an early, you know what I'm saying, growing up, being around those guys, and Prodigy was just trying to be, you know, a good guy and show that, hey, I'm still with you, you know, even though we big time rappers, I'm still from where y'all from. I'm still from Queens, I'm still from the hood like y'all. So he tried to keep those guys around. But some people, man, you can't bring with you, man, when you're trying to get to the top. You know, and Havoc peeped that. And Prodigy just didn't see what happened with Prodigy, he got robbed. Anyway, man, what y'all think about this book? Y'all can check it out on Audible. Y'all want to listen to the whole thing. Let me know what y'all think. Leave your comments and subscribe to Charles on Nesmo.